Hello, this is a video on how to play Knockout Whist. Now, Knockout Whist is a special card game in that it is a elimination card game, which is quite rare because many card games do not feature an elimination component. And so let's just get right into it. And so you'll need your standard 52 card deck. Um, Obviously, you can play with anywhere between anywhere from 2 to 7 players. Um, Keep in mind that the more players, it's usually funner with the more players you have. Um, and so each player is dealt 7 cards in the first round. And this is true for any number of players. And so whether you have 2 players or whether you have 7 players, each player is dealt 7 cards in the first round. The top card of the remaining deck is flipped up to determine the trump suit for the first round. That's all the remaining deck is really useful for. And so in this case, the remaining deck, the top card was flipped up, and it was determined that the suit of the top card is a heart. And so hearts are the trump suit for the first round. And so that's just for the first round. 7 cards, top card flipped up determines the trump suit. For subsequent rounds, the amount of cards dealt is reduced by 1. And so in the next round, we'll have 6 cards. In the round after that, we'll have 5 cards, and so on. And the winner of the previous round determines the trump suit. And so, right, for the first round, the flipped up card is the trump suit, but let's say Jack wins this first round. Jack then gets to pick the trump suit in the next round. And so the card rank from highest to lowest is just ace being the highest and 2 being the lowest. All the other cards are in between. So ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 from highest to lowest. The objective of the game is to win at least 1 trick during a round. And so literally that's all you have to do. Just win 1 trick during a round. Just win 1 trick during a round. Obviously, you want to win as many tricks as you can during a round because that allows you to pick the trump suit for the next round, giving you a big advantage. But as long as you win 1 trick in a round, you don't get knocked out, right? Because the game is called Knockout Whist. And so if you win 0 tricks during a round, you then get knocked out of the game and you've lost. And so Knockout Whist is a trick-taking game. A trick is created by each player playing a card into the middle. And so it's my turn to start, I believe. And so I'll play a card in the middle. I'll play an 8 of spades. And so I just want to talk about what happened here. A trick is created by each player playing a card into the middle, and the highest ranking trump suited card wins the trick. If no trump suited cards were played, the highest ranking card in the lead suit would win the trick. Each player must play a card in the same suit as the card led whenever possible. And so since I led with a spade last time, if I have a spade, if any other player has a spade, they must play it. In this case, Anne led with a spade. And so since I have a spade, notice how a spade is the only card I can play, right? The player that wins the trick leads the next trick. You must play a card in the same suit as the card led whenever possible. And so since Anne won the trick, she'll start the next trick. Once again, it's a spade. In this case, I can play any card. So I'm going to play 6 of hearts. Why? Hearts are the trump suit. That allows me to win 1 trick. This ensures that I will not be knocked out of the game here. And so at the end of the round, the player that wins the most tricks gets to determine the trump suit of the next round. So what's the objective? You want to win at least 1 trick to stay in the round. You have to follow the lead suit whenever possible. The player who wins the round gets to determine is a player who has the most tricks, and they get to determine the trump suit for the next round. The last player remaining wins the game. That's essentially it. If you don't win a trick, you get kicked out, right? And so if there's 2 players in the final round, 1 player would need to take all the tricks to kick the next player out, and that's just essentially it. It's very, very, very simple. And so if a player does not win a trick during a round, the player is knocked out of the game. And so let's just continue going. I'm gonna try to play. So Jack played his trump card there. I don't have that, and so I'm just going to play any card, right? Because I can't lead with that card. It seems like Hubert will lose this round. If he cannot win a trick. Yeah, and so Hubert won 0 tricks here. And so now, and this is what I was going to highlight. And so if a player does not win a trick during a round, the player is knocked out of the game with one exception. The first player to go without winning a trick gets what's called the dog's life. This means that the player is still in the game, but only gets dealt one card in the next round. So Hubert's still in the game, but he only gets dealt one card in the next round. The player can then decide which trick to play that one card on in the next round. So Hubert gets to hold out with that one card and pick the specific trick in which he can win, and he's going to pick that trick to play his card. And so if the player on the dog's life wins a trick with the one card, he or she is back in the game with a normal hand in the next round. If the player with the dog's life fails to win a trick with that one card, he or she is eliminated from the game. If multiple players win 0 tricks in a round, and the dog's life has yet to been used, right? Because the dog's life is used on the first player or players knocked out of the game. Both players get the dog's life and one card in the next round. After the dog's life has been used, any player that doesn't win a trick in a later round is eliminated from the game immediately. And so after this round, that was the dog's life used on Hubert. Any other player is eliminated. They have no opportunity to get back in the game. And so it's quite easy, right? Let's sum up Knockout Whist again. Play a card in the lead suit whenever possible. Win at least one trick to avoid getting eliminated. The player with who wins the most tricks determines the trump suit in the next round, with the exception of the first round. You play with the diminishing cards in each round. If you win 0 tricks, you're kicked out of the game, with the exception of the dog's life. Those 5 points sum up Knockout Whist. And so notice how we have diminishing cards, right? In the first round we had 7 cards. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, right? And so it's quite simple. I think just by watching me play, you've already understood how to play. Remember, just to sum up, players must play a card in the same suit of the lead card whenever possible. The player that wins the most tricks in a round gets to choose the trump suit for the next round. If 2 or more players tie for the most tricks won in a round, both players cut the deck, meaning they cut it at a specific spot, and the card on the bottom of the cut, you turn the cut around, and the card on the bottom of the cut. Well, both players look at the card on the bottom of the cut. The player with the highest card on the bottom of the cut chooses trump for the next round. Um, and so um, that's just essentially it. The player, I guess, I mean, that's really it for how to play Knockout Whist. It's quite a simple game. Notice that 9 hearts are trump, and so it's quite annoying. Reason being, we don't we have to use our one trump card, even when we know we can't win this. Notice that Hubert didn't play his card because he knows that he's waiting for the opportunity to win, right, and use his dog's life. And so I want a trick, and so I'm safe. And so that's good for me. Note that this is a somewhat luck-based game. And so Hubert still has his last card, and he's going to play it when he can. In this case, he waited to play it, but he's not going to win because the lead suit was a heart. And so Hubert is completely out of the game. He's knocked out, right? He has no cards. He's completely knocked out. Poor Hubert. Now it's Anne's turn. Since Anne won the last round with the most tricks, she determines the trump suit. She picked hearts. And so now we have to play a heart. We know that Anne already won with her ace, and so we are going to play our lowest heart as to avoid wasting a heart here. Once again, we must play a heart. We must play in the same suit as that suit whenever possible. We can play any card here. We are going to go with a 9 of hearts in order to sort of win the trick there. Winning at least one trick, keeping us in. And so Jack won a trick as well. And so in this case, the machine probably just determined randomly, right, between me and Anne by doing the simulation behind the scenes. But in real life, you'd cut the deck when 2 people both won the round, and then so in this case, we are going to pick trump. Notice how every round we are playing with a diminished card. We are playing with 1 less card. In the last round, we played with 5 cards. In this round, we play with 4 cards. And so in terms of picking trump, we have 2 hearts, and so I'm going to go with a heart here. That gives me a confident chance that we should be able to win. And so Jack won that first trick. I'm going to play my 7 of hearts. I also won a trick, and that leaves me safe here. Anne won her trick, and then I also played winning this trick. And so I get to pick Trump again because I was the winner of the last round. They had one trick one. Jack had one trick one. Anne had one trick one. I had two tricks one. And don't worry if you get in a scenario where all the players win tricks, right? You might be like, hey, no players are getting eliminated. But we are playing with diminished cards, right? We are taking off one card each round. And so eventually you will get to a point where one player will have to be eliminated because you will have less cards than the number of players, which means less tricks than the number of players. We're going to go with diamonds as trump. And so we'll play our three of spades here. And Jack played his diamond, winning. And so we have to play our lowest diamond here. And so we lost. And so Jack won the game. Me and Anne are both out. Jack won the game. And so that's how to play knockout whist. In terms of a place, I guess this is placing based off of some sort of scoring system, but that's just behind the scenes. There's no second place. There's one winner. Um, sorry, there is. A second place is the second last player to get eliminated. The third place is the third last player to get eliminated. In this case, since Hubert was the first player to get eliminated, he is fourth. And then in that order of who gets eliminated, the next player. Um, so the player who got eliminated third. In this case, me and Anne got eliminated at the same time, and so I don't know how I decided that. But the quicker you get eliminated, the further down you are on the scoreboard. And so that sums up how to play knockout whist. Very, 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 very easy game. And it's very, very, very fun. And it has a unique elimination component. I'd say Knockout Whist is probably my favorite card game out of all the card games. It's a beautiful card game. It's easy to understand. There's no complicated scoring system you have to keep track of. It's simple. You can play it with a large number of people. Very easy. Games are quick, and it's very, very, very fun. And so that sums up how to play Knockout Whist, and I strongly suggest you try this game. It's a very, very fun game. Thank you.